Abushimega Bidialas Yetichaskinas were Amerigami Yatsel Nahatnira Haigagani Bari Luys. Bari Luys. Thursday night, English night. But still, the word Bari Luys stays as an Armenian word. Now, the reason I'm doing the English programming is not because so many Armenians speak English, it's just because there are non-Armenian speaking individuals who like to watch me. And they like to know what I'm saying. And on the other hand, majority of the Armenian students who graduate from Armenian private schools speak English more than Armenian. So the teenagers and the younger generation will comprehend and understand what I'm talking about in the English language better than what I'm talking in the Armenian language. So here is an example for you. It's been almost 50 years for the first Armenian school in Los Angeles. And after that, till today, in the year 2014, we have some 10 to 12 daily Armenian schools who are private schools, and every parent sacrifices lots of money to send their kids to those private schools. Yet, in the last 50 years, we haven't seen one Armenian individual who has attended any of the Armenian private schools graduate and become a writer, an Armenian writer. That means a writer who writes in the Armenian language, who has published few novels or poetry books, and has survived keeping his family's earnings by just writing an Armenian novel or an Armenian poem and publishing it in a book. So now, I know majority will not understand what I'm talking about because that is a no-no in the Armenian culture. You can't just identify yourself saying, I am an Armenian, I go to an Armenian school. Yet if that Armenian school cannot produce Armenian writers or individuals who can read Armenian. Today, after the first Armenian newspaper published in Los Angeles almost 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, we see the demise of the Armenian newspaper. The newspapers that write in Armenian, their subscription has gone down. The readers have gone down. It's only the elderly because the new generation cannot read Armenian. Isn't it happy note or sad note? But yet, we precisely introduce to the whole world that we are a culture-loving nation. We are a nation that has a culture. And what is a culture if not the language, the Armenian language? We are so hypocrite in the way we approach all those things, that any writer that writes in the English language is considered to be an Armenian writer. So like, we can always be proud of William Saroyan, one of the biggest American writers, and then we are so stupid to think that he's an Armenian writer. He wrote about Armenian topics or Armenian characters, but he utilized the English language. So coming back to my main question is, where are the Armenian writers who have graduated from this 12 or 10 or 12 Armenian daily schools, and some of them, almost all of them, are high school level private schools, private Armenian schools. So does that mean that the Armenian school system has failed in producing the Armenian reader and the Armenian writer? I know we do have lots of lawyers, accountants, physicians, and any profession that is making good money today has students who have attended Armenian private schools. Big deal. Lots of public schools have produced more doctors, more lawyers, more accountants, more whatever we today make money off of. So the precise need of an Armenian public school is to create that Armenian writer and the Armenian reader. On an average, each year in the last 5 years, I'm going to say, we have spent over $20 million in supporting and keeping the Armenian schools alive in Southern California. So, can I say $100 million? I'm not talking about 50 years of Armenian schooling in Southern California. I'm just talking about the last 5 years. On an average, $2 million per school, $20 million a year, 5 years, that's $100 million. What have we achieved with that $100 million? A safe environment for Armenian kids to go to a private school? By the way, total population of Armenian school doesn't exceed over 5,000 in the private schools. We have over 20,000 Armenian kids attending public schools. Do we care about their safeties? Bullshit. I cannot say that word. Why? Because I'm on television. And then, the most important, Armenians don't have words like that. So it's hypocrisy at its best. And then we are saying that how come our new generation is assimilating faster, and what do we expect for a young kid to attend an Armenian school, graduate at age 16, 17, go to a university, become an Armenian language linguist, and make a living? Why? It's not his mistake. It's the community's mistake. Over 400,000 Armenians live in Southern California. 4 to 1, that means 100 families. 100 families, as you know, I always have the division of 2. 50,000 are stupid, 50,000 are smart. Or let's go like this. 51,000 families within the Armenian identity are stupid. 49,000 within the Armenian identity are the smart, intellectuals, and such on. That means if an Armenian writer publishes a book, a novel, 49,000 copies should be sold. Then you can call yourself a nation that thrives on cultural excellence. After the commercial break, I'll be back.
Have you protected him? Have you protected her? Looks safe. Don't leave him hanging. Have you put real thought into his future? Have you protected your kid's future? Let's create a trust. Assign them a guardian to protect his future. Contact DER-PARSEGHIAN Law Group. We are here to help.
Էնսինոյում գտնվող Terrace Restaurant and Lounge-ը միջին արևելյան ճաշարանների բազմությունից առանձնանում է լավագույն լիբանանյան խոհանոցով։ Ճաշարանի շքեղ բացօթյա սրահը անկրկնելի է բուրավետ հուկա վայելելու եւ միջին արևելյան ախորժալի խորտիկները ճաշակելու համար։ Ուրբաթ եւ շաբաթ կենթանի նվագախումբը, DJ-ն ու գեղեցկուհի պարուհիները ձեր ժամանցը կհամեմեն միջերկրական կրքոտ ռիթմերով։ Ճաշարանը բաց է շաբաթը 6 օր, ճաշին եւ ընթրիքին։ Անմահական ուտեստներ, անկրկնելի միջավայր։ Terrace Restaurant and Lounge 25 տարի համայնքի հետ, համայնքի համար։ 25 տարի շարունակ Հորիզոն հեռուստատեսությունը արձագանքել է ժամանակի պահանջներին ու բավարարել ամենատարբեր նախընտրությունների հեռուստադիտողին։ Հորիզոնը մշտապես ներկայացրել է հայ համայնքի քաղաքական, մշակութային, հասարակական ներուժը, բարձրաձայնելով հայի կարծիքն ու դիրքորոշումը։ Հավատարիմ իր առաքելությանը Հորիզոնը Հարավային Կալիֆոռնիայի հայ համայնքին առաջարկում է անվճար կապուղիների միջոցով լինել հայոց աշխարհի իրադարձությունների կիզակետում։ Արդիականացման աշխատանքներից հետո Հորիզոնն այսօր արդեն եթերում է 10.6 հաճախականությամբ։ Մեզ միանալու համար անհրաժեշտ է ընդամենը մեկ ամենասովորական ալեհավաք։ Հաջորդ քայլով միացնում եք ալեհավաքը հեռուստացույցի համապատասխան մուտքին։ Հեռակառավարման վահանակի վրա սեղմում եք որոնող կոճակը եւ 10.6 ալիքի միջոցով հայտնվում եք գիտակրթական, տեղեկատվական, հանրամատչելի, ժամանցային ու որն ամենակարևորն է, տեղական բազմազան հեռուստահաղորդումների հորձանուտում։ Հորիզոն հեռուստատեսությանն անվճար միանալու համար անհրաժեշտ է ընդամենը 1 հպում։ Տեխնիկական հարցերի համար կարող եք դիմել 818 403 95 հեռախոսահամարով եւ մենք կօգնենք ձեզ դառնալու մեր հեռուստադիտողը։ Պահպանեք լավագույն ավանդույթները։ Միացեք Հորիզոնին։ Central Optometry կենտրոնն ու Board Certified ակնաբուժ Սոնա Սիրունյանը առաջարկում են ակնաբուժական ծառայությունների լայն ցանկ, այդ թվում աչքի ընդհանուր քննություն, ակնային հիվանդությունների ախտորոշում եւ բուժում։ Աչքերի չորության բուժման համար այստեղ կիրառվում է շրջանում միակը հանդիսացող Lipid Flow բարձրորակ սարքավորում, մանկական ակնաբուժական ծառայություններ եւ այլն։ Central Optometry-ն առաջարկում է նաև contact լենզերի եւ հայտնի պիտակների օպտիկական ակնոցների լայն ընտրանի։ Central Optometry կյանքին նայեք առողջ եւ գեղեցիկ աչքերով։
Bari Luys again. Do you know why? Because I'm just thinking about how we can be hypocrites and be so proud of the Armenian schools, the private schools in Southern California, who have not produced one Armenian writer in the last 50 years. If you look to your parents' generations, or if you're an elderly person, you can tell, like back in Syria, Lebanon, Cyprus, all those great writers who came out of the Armenian schooling. Those were all private schools, but yet we had Armenian writers who wrote in newspapers and then published books, and they wrote novels. So, do we think that as Armenians we're going to survive and this culture is going to thrive by just writing in English? Look at this program right now. The reason I'm talking in English is minority of the Armenians, because our language is one of the best language, cannot speak it right now or cannot comprehend it. The younger generation cannot learn it. Why? Remember in the beginning I said no one Armenian writer can make money out of writing an Armenian novel. That's one reason. And the second, if any younger Armenian writer tries to experiment as a new thinker within the Armenian community, the elderly, the few who are so proud of the Armenian language will criticize him to bringing new stuff. Therefore, if he's not stuck to the tradition of the Armenian writing where you have to be so polite in how you write your novels, what happens? As time is evolving, as cultures are taking new approaches, the Armenian culture stays still, just the good stories, but nothing. You can't utilize any of this word or that word. How dare you to talk about an Armenian woman wanting to have a sexual relationship in an Armenian novel? So, but this is the situations that the younger generation can express with. The older generation, they were still believing in the myths of what they were brainwashed with. So, coming back, is it worth spending $20 million a year just to protect your child because you want him or her to go to an Armenian school? And then the biggest commotion goes on how to raise funds to keep those schools alive. Do you know that your kid at age 2 has mastered the English language just by watching television and watching all those entertaining elements for the kids? I guarantee you have purchased every Disney movie for your 3-year-old or 4-year-old. And he masters it before even going to any private or public school by just listening to those tapes and being able to understand, comprehend, and express in the English language. Yet we Armenians, the smartest people on this planet, we send our kids for 12 years. Out of the 5,000 annually, probably like 10% will be very fluent in the Armenian language. It's the remaining 90%, who cares? We gave them an Armenian education. And what was it? The criteria of all Armenian schools is not to teach Armenian language. It is a secondary thing. It is there just, they can tell the community, look, we have Armenian language classes, send us money. If you look at any Armenian public school who has sent out a press release, it is all about how they have achieved the California educational standards and they have been accredited with blah 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 blah. Send your kid to a another private school. They have the same accreditations, the same values. But we have Armenian schools so that the next generation of the Armenian reader, the Armenian writer, will be produced. Unfortunately, we've been looking at it for the last 50 years. All the community leadership is so proud of their organizations who have supported those schools, yet they are just another business. Any grocery store that has a sign on it says Armenian grocery store is equivalent to any school that has a sign on it says Armenian school. Nothing different between doing a business, getting your pita bread or any Middle Eastern food from those stores, or sending your kid to a school that's going to give them the integrity and the proudness of being an Armenian. Bottom line, the Armenian culture today is a food culture. It's a kebab culture. Unfortunately, we don't even pronounce it with the Armenian word of khorovats. We just use the Arabic, Persian, Turkish kebab. See, look at the Greeks. They're more proud than us. They have souvlaki. They don't use the word kebab. But we Armenians, because we have the slave mentality, yet we spend $100 million in the last 5-6 years on Armenian schools. We don't even have any Armenian kids who are very determined to become Armenian writers, whose knowledge of Armenian vocabulary is excellent. Yeah, we have one or two. Those are the ones who will be kept in museums. Remember, back in the day, 100 years ago, we're going to celebrate the 100 years. By the way, are there any projects for the 101 anniversary? Because 101 is a better number than 100. No, we don't, because 100 is a square number. We're going to have all this centennial. We can't have centennial and 1 year projects. See how hypocrite we Armenians are? So, I know I'm making you guys mad, and somebody's going to call right now and say, why are you speaking in English? Tun hayren cheski der khosil. I told you guys, every day is in Armenian. Thursdays, I do it in English. So stay tuned. After the commercial break, I will come back and I will tell you Bari Luys.
Karounն առաջարկում է նախաճաշի սերուցք, Կալիֆոռնիայի թարմ կաթից պատրաստված, բնական, առանց արհեստական հավելումների։ Karounի այս կաթնամթերքը անփոխարինելի է նախաճաշի համար։ Այն շատ համեղ է հացի, մեղրի կամ մուրաբայի հետ։ Սկսեք ձեր օրը Karoun նախաճաշի սերուցքով։ Karoun, համեղության անուն։
LABK Services հաստատությունը առաջարկում է սննկացման, BANKRUPTCY-ի հայտարարագրման ծառայություններ։ Դիմումների ամբողջական լրացում 1 ցածր արժեքով։ $399 գումարած արձանագրության պետական վճարումը։ BANKRUPTCY-ի դիմելու դյուրին ընթացք, ժամանակի ու դրամի խնայողություն։ Մենք երաշխավորում ենք սննկացման գործընթացի գաղտնապահությունը։ BANKRUPTCY-ի հետ կապված բոլոր հարցերով դիմեք LABK Services գրասենյակ։
Bari Luys. The first 2 segments of this program I was criticizing, and I was presenting an issue that nobody else dares to talk about, except Stepan Partamyan. Because I'm a realist, I look at the point and I see that there's no result. Now, in this next 6 minutes, I'm going to give you an alternative, how I can make every kid on the planet of an Armenian heritage get involved in the Armenian language and be ready to read an Armenian book and learn the Armenian language. And here is how I'm going to do it. You take $20 million a year and you have 50 students. You divide the 20 among the 50 students who actually became fluent in Armenian language, writing and reading and such on. You see how much money you're spending per person. Now, why don't we announce a competition? Close all the schools, announce the competition. For every kid who comes in and is capable in oral and written to explain an Armenian novel, a book, and this starts from Armenia. By the way, in Armenia, a parent makes $500-600 a month, both of them working. They spend $200 for a tutor who will come and teach their kid French, English, Italian, German. So if you tell to that kid, if you know Armenian fluently, and you throw away all those Latin and English words within the Armenian understanding, like concrete, intonația, adaptația, all those things, and you're capable of explaining and in oral and written, and the Armenian novel will give you $1,000. You can do 10 books, we'll give you $10,000. In Armenia, a parent who's making $5,000 to $6,000 a year and spending over $2,000 for the kid to learn a foreign language, because they know in Armenia, the motherland, where the Armenian language is supposed to be the greatest one, a kid knows a foreign language, he can make more money. So basically what you do is, when you do that competition, you start creating jobs for Armenian language teachers, because the parents, they're going to hire an individual who is fluent in Armenian language, which does not include the Russian words, the English words, and all those other words that we utilize. If the kid passes, gets $1,000, he presents 10 books, he gets $10,000 one day. So the parent even doesn't have to work. I mean, they're zul anyhow, lazy, they don't work. But this way, you're encouraging them by money to let the second generation become fluent in the Armenian language. You do the same in the United States. I know our families here are much richer and such on, but yet there is a certain number of Armenian students who financially are not as good as the other ones. So here you create that student who will hire, the parents will hire a teacher who will teach those kids Armenian language, written and oral, and they'll be able to come and explain or just present one of the books. Now, you're going to sell more books, Armenian books. You're going to have more teachers who will teach Armenian language, and you're going to have more kids who will be fluent in the Armenian language. Why? Because they make money out of it. Amote, amoche. Look at the doctor, look at the lawyer. Why are you asking your kid to become a doctor and lawyer? Why? Because they want to serve the community. Again, bullshit. Bullshit, not bull. It's the same thing. One is bull, one is bull. It is all about making money. So here is the approach. You let your kid be fluent in the Armenian language, and you give him the price of the money. You have 10,000 kids, you give them $1,000 each, you still have another millions of dollars to spend. You have 20,000 kids, you give them 10,000 each, or a kid can make $15,000 because he's better in explaining the Armenian language than the other one. Let him make that money. On a yearly basis, the $20 million that you spend for your schools, the Armenian private schools, and you don't have a result out of it, except we have a good student body who is very educated, and they got accepted to USC, UCLA. Big deal. There are lots of students who are going to public schools and are getting accepted to UCLA and USC. So the end result is the Armenian language will benefit. Any culture that does not prepare or present a new culture of values cannot survive. If there is no writer, an Armenian writer today in Los Angeles, then definitely you will not have Armenian culture in Los Angeles in the next 10, 15 years. You will have the hypocritical culture. An Armenian performing Mozart, big deal. You don't see an Armenian kid who composes Armenian melody or classical Armenian music based on Armenian melodies, just like what Aram Khachaturian did. Why do you think Aram Khachaturian is so famous in the world? Because he took the Armenian melody lines and incorporated it within the classical form. Otherwise, where are all the other so-called Aram Khachaturians? We're not going to have, but we can have another kid who can create that thing. What we have to do? Financially support them. I know we believe in rocks. You give me a rock, I'll give you $1,000. For what? We don't even use the rock to throw it at the the invasion of other cultures to demise the Armenian culture. So, think about it. Appreciate an Armenian kid who is fluent in reading and writing the Armenian language by monetary results. Give him money. Just like a doctor. Oh, I can't speak Armenian. Why? It's very hard. But you went to school for 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you learned every Latin word for every muscle in my body. You know every Latin word for every medication that you're going to prescribe and make money out of it. Why? You put your brain, the huge brain that you have as a doctor, and you became the most important doctor, learning all those Latin words. Why? Because you're making money out of it. If I tell you you're going to make $1 million extra, if you know the Armenian language, you will learn it in 1 month. Why? Because the incentive is there, money. As you guys know, I always make a joke of, what is the oldest profession on the planet? And you guys will say prostitution. And I ask you, who are the oldest people on this planet? Armenians. So, I know this is an insult, you cannot say those things. But for the sake of surviving, for the sake of making the Armenian language thrive more another 1,000 years in Los Angeles, then let's give them money and let them learn the Armenian language. Because I know when you go to heaven, the imaginary place, nobody will be talking or speaking Armenian. Bari Luys. Աբուշիմեգը պիտի լաս, եթե չհասկնաս, որ Ամերիկայի Միացյալ Նահանգները հայկական է։ Bari Luys.